Young Riviera. Young Riviera. Young Riviera. Young Riviera. Shout out to the GTA niggas. You know what it is? I ain't shit. Willis.
Endie Fiya, listening audience, supporters, fans, followers, both. I present to you our guest for this evening, producer, songwriter, and engineer, Willis. How you doing?
What's up? What's up? Chilling. How you guys?
That was Riviera featuring Golden G. Want to talk about that song
Golden
really quickly?
G, my boy. Yeah, of course. That's the intro of my latest project, Falcon Child, Volume 1, Yuri. That's the outro song, actually. I'm from Riverside, so that song, more so just a play on words. Riverside, Riviera, our little takeover. I'm going to lead that wave. That was just the basis of it, just talking about a little bit of my childhood and that coming up, focusing more on music versus all that other stuff going around in California. That's the basis of it.
So what is your musical background like?
My musical background. I started making music super late, actually. I started producing. I was 14, 15, and just producing. Really, I didn't even ever intend to rap or anything like that. But I actually started producing because I heard Kid Cudi's Day and Night, the beat for that. And just that first little synth melody, I was it was super dope to me because, I was really into video games and stuff like that, and it had an 8-bit feel to it. So I just, went around searching software that I could make beats on, didn't really know what I was doing, and got into that. Found FL Studio somehow and didn't know what the heck I was doing because I'm not, trained in any instrument at all. So throughout the years, it's just been a huge learning curve. Just producing, trying to get beats out to people, not landing anything. So next best thing you could do is learn how to do it yourself so you don't have to count on anybody. That's
right.
Really the background there, though.
Okay. And what really gave you the push to really there as a rapper? For me personally, when I started making beats, I only started rapping because I just wanted people to really listen to my beats, so I would really freestyle over them. Okay, hopefully if they hear this beat, it's easier to listen to a beat with somebody rapping over it than just a plain instrumental. So maybe if they hear it this way, they'll want it. You know what I'm saying? So what really gave you that push to really put yourself out there as a rapper?
So I would say when I was 16, about to turn 17, you're getting towards the end of your run in high school. I was homeschooled from the time I was a sophomore up. So I was at home most of the time during that. But I would often go up north, up to Stockton, that's in Northern California, with all my homies down there. And, just hanging with the homies, freestyling, messing around. And there was actually this website called jamglue.com back in the day where, I don't know, you could literally just grab random instrumentals or whatever. It's around the early times where, YouTube beats were just, you type in hip-hop beat and stuff. But find some random beat. I was rapping on all these random beats, freestyling, didn't know how to write anything. And I did a freestyle over one of the Mario beats, the game Mario. And that actually, there's a little chart on Jamglue, and it was called Nerdcore. So I did that little freestyle on the Nerdcore and put it up on the Nerdcore post, and it was number one for 3 weeks on there. So I was oh, hold up.
Yeah.
I'm getting some attention from this. So, you know, when you're starting off, all you need is that little small things like that to happen, and that'll take you a long way if you get inspired enough. But, yeah, from there, I was just recording stuff, and then I wanted to learn how to, like, mix more. So I would record songs and, like, make little mixtapes, put those out, just trying to work on my engineering. And that led to a little fan base growing from that, and got to keep going from there.
And which one do you prefer to do more, or are they all equal for you? Like, do you just like making the beats more and rapping the secondary, or has the rapping became more of a primary focus with you having success with it?
I get the most kick out of producing. It's just something about producing. It just does something for me. You know, just creating sounds from scratch, building it into something. Rapping, of course, is fun. Even engineering, I love all of them. I probably love them all the same, but initially, like, the kick I get is the production.
And are you still on Fruity Loops?
Of course. I use Fruity Loops and Machine mostly. Machine's a little MPC pad. It's more of a hands-on feel when you use, like, the MPC versus, you know, FL. A lot of clicking involved, so it's not exactly the same, but it's dope.
Okay. And by chance, have you gave like another software a try? 'Cause like for me, I started off with Fruity Loops too. Like I actually knew somebody who had it, and they just let me download it for free, and then I worked my way out. I just worked Fruity Loops. And I was like, no, I wonder what else out there. And I got Reason, and Reason is like my favorite to use. And my whole setup was just Reason and the keyboard. Like that was my whole setup.
Yeah, I've never tried Reason. I know a few people who use that. I tried Ableton for like a week, but I was trash. You know, of course I could learn it if I put more time into it, but I was trash. So I was like, I'm just going to go back to FL. And then for Machine, I got onto that like 3-4 years ago because my cousin had it, and I fell in love with that. I also tried making like beats on Logic, but my workflow in there is a little too slow to where it is at FL, so I just stuck with it after all this time. I also used to use Cakewalk.
I've heard that one too. Yeah, because it's crazy how much Fruity Loops has like kind of like took over. Because like when Fruity Loops released like 2008, that's when I first got into Fruity Loops. It was the biggest critique was the boxes, where it's like, well, you really don't get a chance to really learn the music with the boxes. But now even Pro Tools has went to almost the full format of Fruity Loops, and just trying to get in a way where you can really use the boxes and really to get at least the drum patterns and all the synths and everything, because Fruity Loops is really taking over. Like people are making #1 hits for Fruity Loops. Like do you put that into play when you stick with Fruity Loops to create the music that you make, and that it's like this is like a real industry standard software now?
I mean, I was kind of on the early wave with it. Yeah, people were talking down on it back then, making fun of the name and all that good stuff. But yeah, it's really coming to its own. I haven't really. I stuck with it ever since using it. I think the first time I used it was 2008, 2009.
Okay. Yeah.
I've been with it ever since. So it's great. I love it. And yeah, a lot of #1s come from it. Damn near every producer uses it now, especially with, you know, hip hop music.
And like after like you really started like getting your pen up and really like advancing as a rapper, did that affect the way that you approach creating beats?
You see, it's interesting because I really didn't start producing for myself until like earlier this year. Like it's always been super hard for me to produce for myself. I would produce for other people. That's like a walk in the park for me because, you know, the ideas come quicker. But I'd say I don't think the process of making a beat has changed since I've been writing to my own stuff. And it's kind of weird because, like, when I'm making a beat for someone else, I picture how they would rap on it or how they would approach it. So I'm already having melodies and things like that in my head. So when I'm doing it with myself, it's the same process. So it kind of it's very smooth the way it goes.
Okay. And what if it was a challenge? What was the challenging part about producing for yourself with you like making beats for so long? What made you finally decide now to do it? What was the challenge for that for you?
I don't know. It's like when you're making a beat for someone else, even if I'm thinking of what melodies or whatever they would do, ultimately it's the other artist, coming up with what lyrics he's going to use for it, all the added stuff onto a song. So when I was making stuff for myself, say if I make a beat and I fall in love with it, I'll listen to it 50 times before I'm even ready to start writing to it. So by that time I've just been sitting with this beat, and I guess it forms it used to form somewhat of writer's block at that point, because when I'm in full producer mode, I would when I make the beat for myself, it'll be busy in certain pockets, so I wouldn't know how I was going to approach it or anything like that. And that mostly came with, the inexperience of producing, just what to take out, what to leave. And it wasn't clicking with me that, when I make something for someone else, I, purposely leave it open so they have room to do whatever pockets they want to, whatever flows, anything like that. But when I was making it for myself, it was just I'm making the beat as if it's a song in itself. So rapping on it, it felt weird at the time, but I think I figured it out.
I must say,
and I think
figured it out in your most recent project. Talk about Falcon Child, Volume 1.
All right, so my whole thing is, so Wing Few, which is also my Instagram handle, that's a little collective of mine, me, anybody rocking with my little movement, me and my homies. This little thing I started early on. I like birds a lot. Falcon is my favorite animal. That's just the thing of mine. So Falcon Child, it just means my creation from top to bottom. I engineered the whole thing. I produced for the whole thing, ripped the whole thing, wrote the whole thing. And it's just a full creation of mine. So it's my first project, really producing the whole thing for myself. So I thought that name was fitting. And, Falcon Child, and that's that part of it. So Augury is an ancient Roman thing. It's they would use birds to see where omens were coming from, good or bad. And throughout the project, in the beginning of it, so it's 7 tracks. In the beginning of it, it has kind of an aggressive feel to it, some negative vibes in it. My mind's not in the right place. And throughout the project, it's a journey going down to the bottom track. The track you heard right now, Riviera, it leads to that track. And throughout the project, you see if I succumb to these negative influences that are around me, get trapped in any kind of situation, not thinking clearly, or will I, focus more on the positive things, ergo music, and, get myself out of the situations I'm in type thing. So Augury being bad and good omens, you're seeing through the project which one I follow, basically. That's the idea I had through the project.
Where did you find the storyline? Come up with this project?
It was my everyday life. Just how the events leading up to me making it kind of just shaped the project for me. Because that project, I just wanted to get something out. I haven't, released anything prior to that for a while. So I just wanted to make something that, displayed how I was feeling at the moment